All right, hello everyone. I am back. Good to see ya. We're gonna dive into the masterclass on pro tips, part 2 actually. Terry was doing this, I was doing this, Jason is like, everybody's just like answering questions and putting together pro tips. But yeah, there's so much to cover. This is part 2. I went through quite a few things last week, and I just actually didn't get through everything. So I could give you this fun list right here. Here's kind of what I went through last week, but I have so much more to kind of cover. So this is going to be a lot of fun, right? Cool. So that's my cheat sheet. Can't give it all away. Mallory, not to worry. I will happily give you some of my pro tips that I did last week too, kind of as I go along. Right, so first thing I want to show is going to go to File Open. We have just like this Buddha that I'm kind of working on, right? It's just something I got from the Rinks Museum. So right out here, it's like has so many cool things you can work with. So again, just like find what you want and remix it. They're like, hey, download this artwork and make something cool with it, right? I just think this is so awesome. And what's cool about it is that we'll do a file, we'll do a save as, just so you know this whole process. Save to cloud documents. So this is going to be, I don't even know what that was called, by the way. Let's keep it in mind. 10 Weepers from the Tomb of Isabella of Bourbon. Wow, that is intense. Right, but we'll just kind of drop that name right in here and save it, right? That's PSDCC, cloud document, PSDC, sorry. That's being saved to Creative Cloud. So I actually wanted to point that out really fast because they're actually having a contest. I'm pretty sure, I'll have to dig it up. Give me 1 second. Maybe it's in here. Maybe not. They're doing a sort of a remix contest as well. So that should, you have to, yeah, so anyways, so they typically run a contest, that's all I'm saying. Let's move on. Sorry for all of that. All right, so let's kind of go in, share my screen. Actually, I'm gonna jump out to my iPad because that's where we're at now, right? Why not? 1 second. Bam, here we are. Right, cloud documents. They're syncing right now. We could see there's the Weepers, there's the Buddha. Take that, open it up, it'll be synced. It's also on my desktop right out here too. So if I go to assets.adobe.com, as that's opening, I'll switch back really fast. Right, here it is in the browser too. So there's the Buddha in my browser. And then here it is. Wait for it to load. And then here it is on my iPad. Okay. All right. Cool. So here we are. So I have that just layer 0, right? I could go in and I might want to try to select it. A couple different ways we could do this. Hopefully you can see that. I typically would start with select subject, right? Luckily it's going to work out here just fine. It's not going to recognize that shadow. I don't want it to anyways, right? But before I even do that, let's go ahead and duplicate layer, right? And let's go ahead and mask it, right? So now it's masked out. We could add a new layer right in there. Let's throw a fun gradient behind it. Oh, this is so Paul to do this, right? There we are. Now we have our fun gradient that we can work with, right? But now I have this, obviously, this Buddha. A couple of little updates that we've had to this as well. If this was something more complex, let me actually jump out. Let's grab this bear. Why not? Okay, so if I wanted to select this bear, we'll do the same process. Long press on the selection tool. Select subject. Right, it selects the bear. We'll go to more. Right down there at the bottom is refine edge. So we've added refine edge on the iPad. Let's just change this to on black just so you can see it. We'll zoom in. Here's my lovely brush, and we'll just kind of roll over this and grab all that background from between all of those little hairs will go underneath his chin. Dot, dot, dot. Pretty easy to do. We'll get kind of down here as well. You get the idea. Okay. Output this as a layer mask. Click done. There it is. It's output. Right. Boom. Boom. Duplicating this. Let's put this on top. Let's flip it like that vertically. Let's do that. And let's make that a clipping mask. So now we have that lovely clipping mask inside of the bear, and then we can go ahead and play with the blend modes. Again, just your crash course on the iPad as I start to play with like different colors. Oh yeah, something like that, right? Your traditional, your standard double exposure art, right? You get the idea. Cool. Cool. All right, from there, also I wanted to point out really fast, boom, I'm going to show you something. You ready for this? Dealing with fonts. So let's do this really. Let's type right in here. Let's do Kodiak. I don't even know if this is a Kodiak bear. K-O-D-I-A-K. Right? Change the color. After I select the whole word, there's my text. Right? Let's increase the font size. And move it into place. This font isn't bad, but look at all these font properties that we get. And let's switch this view. Font size, the tracking, right? I probably want to tighten up all that tracking, to be honest with you. But you have all these controls, and this could be per character. So I could do a baseline shift on these individual letters. I could stretch it out. I could have all sorts of fun with it. But how do you get more fonts? I think that's the big question people have, right? So what do? We'll go out to the Creative Cloud iPad app. So right here, if you have the Creative Cloud iPad app, you could jump down and let's just take a look at... we could filter fonts, by the way. Let's make a big fat font that's going to have... let's make it black letter. Why not? Like this font right here, Herb. Let's add Herb, the Herb font. Pressing in the upper right, I'm syncing that font now. So we'll remember Herb, we'll remember Broken Script, right? Clicking right there, we'll sync those two. So that's how you actually get fonts into Photoshop on your iPad, right? Cool, it's taking a second. Let's grab it like so. And we'll wait for it to load in, but it will pop up in here. Right now I'm just playing around with fonts. All right, you got it. Kodiak, why not? Let's just go with that one. Are you guys thinking that it's absolutely ugly? That's okay. All right. There we go. We'll go with this one. Done, done. That's going to be synced. We have this one that's all squared away as well, right? If I want to brighten this one up, I would add, and by the way, you do a long press on that plus button, and that gives you more options that fly out, right? So that's where I'd add my adjustment layer. In this case, I'd want to throw some curves on it, right? Throw some curves. Make sure it's clipped, by the way. Go down here, let's clip it. Bam! It's just going to affect this statue now, right? As I play with the brights and the darks, and I manipulate the reds too. Right, you get the idea. Done. Let's move on. I just wanted to show some of the iPad tips and tricks that I didn't get to last week, right? Especially adding fonts. That's all being synced. That's all I have to do. I don't have to like airdrop it to myself or anything like that. It'll just be available on my desktop as I switch over. All right. We'll hit refresh right in here. Superimpose a skull. You want me to do that, Carol? It does. It's very much, it's set up to have like a skull. And that's probably what Carol would say. She'd come in here and say, hey, you know what? Superimpose a skull, right? Like that. That's what she would say. Who knows? But that's a good idea. Yeah, we could do that. So that's done. There it is. Got some comments from you guys, which I appreciate because I'm looking for feedback. File, open. Grab this Buddha. Close that Buddha. It was already open. File, open. Grab that Buddha. There it is, right? It's all squared away. What if we did want to superimpose a skull on this, right? What would we do? Well, I would take this. I'm just going to do a save as. I'm going to save it to my desktop, or I'll just actually output a JPEG. Let's do that. Okay, file, export. Quick export as JPEG to the desktop. It's called Buddha. Like that. Boom. Now, how I do this is I know that there's 3D in Photoshop, but I would use Dimension, right? Create new. Give it a second. There we are. Let's go back out to my desktop. Hide everything else. Drop in that image like so, okay? Because I need to be able to make sure it's superimposed. Let's match the canvas and the lights with the image that I've just imported. There we are. Boom. You'd have to go out and find a skull, right? You guys know I have skulls everywhere, right? Let's search my libraries, because chances are I have one skull. Type it in there. There we are. Boom. Here's a skull. Bring it out. Drop it on. Get the angle just right, right? That's what I would use this for. Like so. Let's rotate this around. Scale it up. Rotate it down a little bit, right? Getting this position just right. If you move it down too far, it's going to start melting into the ground. Well, you could turn that off. If you go to Environment, turn off Ground Plane. Click. There we go. Just like, yeah, I don't need the ground plane. I just need this skull, and I need to make sure that skull fits right in there. So we kind of turn this off, kind of make sure it's aligned. Maybe stretch it out a little bit because it's like the head's a little wide. So let's just stretch it out like so. And there we have it. Notice how it matched all the lights? Notice how it matches the lighting and everything too. Isn't that cool? If you really want to know what's going on, is for the environment light, it took that background image and it put it as an environment light right in there. Okay? All right. So there we go. We have that done. Let's render it. Let's call it Scully render. Let's move on. Yeah, I love my skulls, gradients, and flowers. I kind of want to make this like a like an Indiana Jones, like a ruins, like maybe part of it's falling apart, right? So we could work on selections and of course adding new things. I highly encourage everybody to like set up your shortcuts, right? I use a couple shortcuts of just things that I do on a regular basis. Like tile all of the images, right? Selecting this other image, right? We're back right here. We tile. We'll jump in here, back into this image. I might cut out something like this. Let's rasterize it really fast. Use color range to select the color. In fact, let's go right in here. Let's go to select color range. And select just that white. And I can kind of control the fuzziness or add to it if I want to, but I'll click OK. Selected that, right? Add a mask, boom. Oh, I didn't mean to, every time, this happens all the time. Like you selected something, okay? You selected the white. You don't want to get rid of just the, you want to get rid of the white and you don't want to get rid of the leaves. There we go. have that captured, right? This is what always happens. You'll come in here and you'll click and you'll add that mask. You're like, no, I want the inverse of that. If you want the inverse of a mask, hold down the Option key, right? Right down here, hold down the Option key and click. And then it's gonna remove what was selected and give me what I want, right? Now, what I typically wanna do with this is turn it into a smart object, right? Guess what? You can go into Layer, Smart Objects, Convert to Smart Object. Set up this as a shortcut too, because I use this all the time, right? I mash all these keys together, Control, Option, Command, S, Smart Object, right? Easy shortcut. Talking more about shortcuts, let's do Command U, right? Let's say, for instance, I'm in any modal dialog, right? Which means this takes over the screen and I have to hit OK or cancel. Let's just say I played with this and then I went into the yellows and I played with this and I'm really jacking with it. I'm like, oh no, I just want to get it back to the way it was. Like, just reset everything. Well, again, the Option key or Alt key if you're on a PC toggles the cancel to reset. Oh, thank you very much. Option key, reset. Oh, now it's back to normal. And all I wanted to do was tweak it to make it a little more like yellowish. Okay, easy enough. Cool. I do this a lot, by the way. I'm so glad everybody's here. Can I just say I appreciate you, Steve and Michelle and Robert and Mike. I just appreciate you so much. This is awesome. When I added this, it's the same as image adjustment, hue and saturation, right? When I add it this way, and I do that on a smart object, it applies it right in here as a smart filter. I actually do that a lot because, and again, some people will go this way. If I do it this way and add an adjustment layer, this will give me the same effect, but I end up with this taking up space. And I actually just don't want that, right? Yeah, I can clip it, right? This now, let me zoom out. This here does the same thing as this here, right? They do the exact same thing. I opt to go for the smart filter route because I can nest it away and make it look nice and simple and clean and all that good stuff. All right, so this is for Mallory. Actually, let me just turn that off. Let's change this. Hold on one second. Look the other way. This is for whoever missed it last week. So again, just setting this content up, working with my layers panel, navigating around files. First off, I can't see. I have all these plants and different things out here now, right? I don't know what's what. I could take a look at my layers panel. Luckily, they are labeled butterfly. Like, I can't see which butterfly is which. It's not easy to tell, right? Well, just go to your flyout menu, go to panel options, and just make sure this is set to layer bounds. So set that to layer bounds. Don't expand new effects, and don't add copy to everything, right? And then click OK. Cool. I'm going to go ahead and save this to my desktop, by the way. Really fast. There we go. Cool. I want to show you one more thing, too. This is huge. I want to go back to my iPad because I forgot one thing I wanted to share with you. That is awesome. Just take this butterfly. And let me switch screens. Show you this really fast. Right here is a case where I have this element, this butterfly. Okay, there we are. And I want to make lots of versions of it, right? Right now there's just one. I'll rotate it. Right, I want to make lots of versions. Doing this on the desktop, it means Command J, Command J, Command J, right? And then moving and moving and moving, right? On the iPad, if I want to go ahead and duplicate this, I have this little control key right here. If I press down, I'll constrain its movements, 45 degree, 90 degrees, that whole thing. Right, if I click and drag out, I can make duplicates. So I'll go bam, 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 bam. So this enables me to create an army of butterflies like in seconds, right? And so when it comes to sort of duplicating something, it's a step and repeat at this in one move. So I think that is awesome. Christian, thank you for joining me, man. Appreciate the kind words. By the way, look at that. It added copy to everything because that's, again, I'm on my iPad. Don't do that, right? If I did that on my desktop now, since I have the properties set up, right? If I decide to, first off, I need to know where this butterfly is. Where the heck is it? Option and click. Bam, there it is. Oh, okay, now I can work with this. I can rotate it. I will do a right click, so I'll do Command T, and then I'll do a right click, and then I'll just flip, say, horizontally, like that, okay? But that's how I can find all of these elements. Option click on it, and you can find all of these butterflies regardless of where they're at in your composition, right? And then Command 0, you zoom back out, right? If I wanted to select the layer, I don't know which branch this one is, maybe this one down here. Just hold down the Command key. If you're on the Move tool, if you hold down the Command key, it's going to change it to Auto Select. So watch my Layers panel. Click. Oh, there it is. Click, click. I could bounce around to all those different layers, and it just makes it easier for navigating. Okay. Yeah, duplicate on the iPad's awesome. Can you do that? Holding and then holding what? Holding what on your, holding Alt and dragging on PC. Let's try that. Ah, I've never done that before in my life. Okay, so scratch that. I'm gonna go retire now. I'm gonna go retire. I can't believe it. I didn't know you could hold down the Option key and drag. I did not know you could do that. How long have I been using Photoshop? Apparently not long enough. All right, here we go. Yeah, Command T, right click, because Judith, the alternative of that, and I'll just turn on everything else, right? We'll just like turn off some of this stuff and we'll start to kind of create something. You know, this crazy branch. First off, I need it behind everything, so that's where we'll move that one. But yeah, if I want to adjust this, typically it's going clear up here, clear down here, and clear over here. So I can't think of a farther way to go to get to horizontal and vertical. Okay, that works also in Illustrator and Dimension. Thank you, Michelle. You make me feel better. Been using this for 50 years. Not really. Just learn something new every day. All right. Let's go grab our Scully. Here's our lovely skull. Right, that we rendered out. Command T, boom. Let's get rid of this other stuff because we do not need it right now. And yeah, here we are. Here's the rendered image with reduced noise. Let's bring it into here. I did make it a different size, but that's okay. Scale it up. We're gonna make a skull on the inside, so we're gonna break apart this statue and have some fun with it, okay? Yeah. All right, let's close that. There we are. We can do this a couple different ways. We have our lovely mask. In fact, you know what? Let's just go ahead, and I'm feeling rebellious. Let's just go ahead and apply this layer mask like so. And again, kind of like that, but we'll play with that a little bit more. I want to have splashes of color on it. I want this to be broken, so let's just take this statue. Command J to jump it. Come in here, and let's just break apart some of this, which I'll use a brush for. And let's open up our brushes. Let's go into some dry media. We have a couple different things. We have a compressed charcoal. And I just need something kind of rough because I'm just going to eliminate parts of this statue. So we'll add a layer mask. We'll paint with black, right? And we will turn on that skull, put that underneath right there. Oops. Right, I could start to take chunks out of this to reveal the skull. I really need a better render, by the way. I'm not crazy about this render. All right. All right. Yeah, let's just kind of take apart some of this. Here we go. I'm actually starting to get a feel that this skull is actually off a little bit, right? The mouth isn't aligned. So let's disable that layer mask for now, and let's scrunch this up. There we go. Okay, let's do this actually. Let's undo this. Because when I scrunch this, I don't want everything to be distorted, right? I actually kind of want to compress just certain parts of it. So we're going to get into distorting this skull, right? We'll take this skull, we'll go to edit, we'll go to edit, transform, and we'll go into warp, okay? With warp, I can actually start to divide this up a little bit. We'll divide this horizontally, so we'll split the warp horizontally. So I could split it right here and right here. Because ultimately, I don't want to distort the top part. This is in position. It's mainly this part right down here that needs to be repositioned. So this allows me to go in, scrunch this up like so, and shape this accordingly so it fits the mouth correctly. Okay, cool. That's all I've done. So you can split it up horizontally, vertically, add all your points. They're all Bezier points, all that fun stuff. Try the distort tool. Hey, it's a great idea. Boom, transform. I used warp, distort. Distort will do the same thing, but you can't split it those ways that I was splitting it. So anyways, let's move on. Let's move this underneath. Let's turn that on, right? We're breaking that apart. We'll throw some black back there. Right, let's do that. Boom. Boom. Wait for it. Let's do this. Another pro tip for any layer mask or any smart filter or any layer styles. If you hold down the Option key, you can drag it down and apply that layer mask to that other layer, right? That's all I did there, because I actually want to use the actual statue back there. But we're going to make it darker. There we go, make that dark. All right, click OK. Let's go to my libraries. Let's hurry up, Paul. There's no time. There is no time to be messing around. I've gone for 30 minutes, and I have 30 more minutes. I have a ton of statues in here. I want to have some of this breaking apart, maybe some cracks, right? And I have a lot of that squared away in here. So let's grab a stone. Let's grab this stone. Let's grab this stone. Let's grab this stone. That one, right? All these different ones. See what else we got in here. We got some cool rubble, right? A collapsed building. We might need that. We have this sort of dark, cracked image, which is going to work out really well. So you guys get the idea. What else we got in here? Some writing. Ooh, fancy. All right, let's get rid of that. All right, let's do this. Let's do this, folks. How's everyone doing today? You out there making dreams come true, huh? I hope so. Go back here. Let's clip that, clipping mask. I'm kind of getting away from my tips, and I'm getting more into this this artwork that I'm creating. So let me actually open up my notes. How about that? All right. Some fun things coming. To Photoshop on the iPad. Here's again, another situation where I actually need to use the warp tool, and we're going to split it vertically right there. Okay, and you know what? We'll split it horizontally. because I just need to bring in this side. I was gonna cut it, but I need to bring it in like that. And let's make sure this forehead goes like all the way out like so. Okay, now it's matching the head. Done. Thank you very much. Okay, let's move on. We have that like so. We have this. I could probably use another rendering of this. Let's give it some depth. I would take this stone texture, make it darker. Like so. There we go. That's what I want. So making that inside. Let's clip it, right? We're making the inside there, right? So we're having levels of depth. In fact, let's throw some more levels in there, right? We can darken that a little bit more. And for this one, boom, mask. B for brush, right? We start eliminating some of that. And in fact, I'm going to use my lasso tool just to kind of quickly grab a chunk and remove it, like so. That's a little too clean. There we go. Using the X key to flip the two. There we go. Yeah, we could talk about other things. We could do select subject on the desktop. We know how that works. We have some fun things coming. I have a ton of really cool fun things coming for the next release of Photoshop that I'm looking at. But let's make this actually darker. So let's throw on another levels for that skull right there. Clip it, clip it, clip it. And make that like all together potentially darker. All right, this all needs some more work. Because you know what? The thing is, the skull underneath is not that interesting. That's the problem with it. Oh, a lot of people asking questions on Facebook. Let's take a look. How do you organize brushes into folders? Thanks for the heads up, by the way. Yeah, you can literally just drag them in or outside of these particular areas, right? So just make your brush. And probably what I'd need to do is I'd need to make a cracked brush. So let's go in here. Let's do crack. Do I have a crack? Do I have any sort of... I probably have lightning, by the way. Let's take a look. Because what is... Concept brush, maybe not. Let's go out to stock.adobe.com. So you can just basically make them right in here, just add a folder, bam, there it is, new stuff, right? And that's where you start adding everything, right? I already kind of have it organized. I could show you some more tricks when it comes to using brushes. This doesn't have any metal to it, but let me open up another file really fast. Since we are talking about tips and tricks, let's try to find my files. There we go. Let me show you a couple tips. So here's one thing I'm going to work with right now. This actually could use like a chain. So we don't want this this whale to lose all its stuff. So we'll create a new layer. We'll go in here and, oh gosh, what flowers and people. Oh, let me just kind of show you this right here, this chain link, right? So we'll go into the properties for brushes, the brush settings off to the side. Let's move it right here. A couple things you want to keep in mind. You can make this chain link, actually everything comes in as a big blob. You space it out, let's space it out so everything is connected about 146%. Then we can go into the shape dynamics, and rather than having this just be like one level, always straight, Hopefully you guys can see that. I'm sorry it's so dark. Let's do it up here. Right, see how it's straight like that? We could go in and under the shape dynamics, under control, we can have it angle the direction we're pulling, right? So we'll do direction like that. And now when I click and drag, it'll actually connect like that, right? I swear I had a chain brush. I realized it's in a different version of Photoshop, but nonetheless, that's what I would do here is I would just like add a chain down to kind of connect and do something stronger than this rope in this case. Right, for this one also, I would take a brush and I would use a smoke brush, right? Grab some smoke, make this smaller, right? And we all know how to resize things based on using your bracket keys. Like we can make this a little bit larger, and then we can use our arrow keys to angle it. If you hold down the shift key, we could do it by increments of 10, right? Because we want that smoke to go that direction, and we want to make it a touch larger, right? So that's what we'll do with that smoke. Something like that. We'll make sure this is set to white, so we'll hit X, and then we'll just like click right there. Then we could use our caret keys, right? Next to the M key, you know, open, close caret. That's what I call them. I don't know what you guys call them. And we could kind of toggle through all these different brushes. So we could find maybe this one, number 6. Change the size a little bit. And then rotate. There we go. Click, there we go. Like that, just adding some smoke right in there, right? I could change it. I did do pure white just so you could see it, but you get the idea. All right, cool. All right, where the heck is this file? Here's another. What does make coffee mean? Wow. Ooh, you got some eagle eyes. Shoot. Make coffee as preferences go into the interface in preferences. And if you go up to the color themes, you hold down, what is it, Shift, Option, and click. That's going to give you toast. Command Shift will give you coffee and toast. So basically Command Shift, and you can have an interface that's like white bread or like a latte or maybe like rye bread and espresso, right? So that's all that is. Pretty simple, pretty fun, and standard. So. All right, click OK, done and done. All right, let's move on. So where the heck is this file? Coffee cups. When you go to preferences, then you go. Okay, cool. Yeah, so anyways, it's Command Shift and click on the interface light and darker color swatches. So if I want to know where this file is, if you do a right click, you can do a reveal in Finder. So that's how you can locate a file. Right now I see where it is since it's on my hard drive. I have this one that's really huge, by the way. Sometimes I don't want to open it up. I don't want to open up this big file that's over a gig, right? All I really want is like a JPEG of it. All I really want to do is get it on my phone. So you can hold down Option and Shift and double click on a PSD and open it up as a composite flat image. Opens up in a split second. Then what I do is I go right up here to the top, since I said I want to get it on my phone. Click right here. This is the share button, and airdrop it to my phone like I'm doing right now. Right? Well, this will pop up. It'll show me my iPhone. We'll click here. Wait for it. Wait for it. Bam. There it is. Right? Soup. Again, just fun tips. Don't save this. Just close it, right? Because it is the actual PSD that it's opening up. Okay. Hello, Kristen. Good to have you here. What other things that I wanted to show you guys? Oh yeah. Let's say, for instance, we have a file. Let's go back in here. We have, you know, this guest file. So we'll use this for live streams, right? It's like I gotta swap this out every so often, right? But I don't want to ruin the original, right? I always want to keep this original kind of locked down as the template. So you can actually go to a PSD and call it a PSD-T for template. And now when you open this file up, it's going to open it up as an untitled document right over here, right? So from there, Then I would come in and I would change the name to Clarissa Con, like that, and adjust, save it. It's going to be saved as a new file, as you can see right now. Okay, cool, done. Here's another pro tip that I absolutely love, by the way. Let's go to a couple of these, actually, is good. Check this out. All right, I have two images. I actually want them to both be the same size. They both need to be this Instagram size, right? I have this moon hands and I have this other moon hands. They're both different, right? And I want to crop this second one to be the same size as this one. But actually, did you know you could do this? When you there's so many. Let's do this. We could move these same files at the same time, right, by holding down the space bar and then the shift key, and you can navigate and pan around two images at the same time. This is great if you're going to compare images, right? I'm moving them around at the same time, holding the space bar and shift, right? Another thing I could do, by the way, is I'm looking at this one and I'm darting around this one, or I'll be working on this image as well. If you hold down the H key and move, you'll pan out. This is the H key. I'll come down to the turtle, zoom in and work on this for a little bit. Hit the H key again, come back up by this water tower, work for a little bit, kind of bounce around like that, okay? But again, I just want to compare these two. I want them to both be cropped to the same size. Right now they're not. I can go to this first image, go to the crop tool. Right up here at the top, you want to set this one as your front image. Set it as your front image. Okay, there it is. Now I'm going to go to the second one and then go to the crop tool, and it already is set to that crop of what you recently had selected as your front image. So basically I defined this as my front image, this one, and then when I go to the crop tool, it automatically sets the properties to that front image. So hopefully that makes sense, right? So again, go to this first one. All we need to do is define this as the front image, and then it kind of stores that in memory, if you will. Then when you go to a different image and crop it, it'll just keep those settings. Cool, all right, let's move on. So a lot of people don't know what that front image means when they're working on something. All righty. Let's do something else fun. I like this. I don't know if I showed this last week, by the way. This is a situation like right in here. How would you crop this? How would you cut him out, right? How would you cut out this line? What I would use is I would go over here to the remove background. Since I'm on a pixel-based layer, under quick action, say remove background. Yeah, that's exactly what I want to do. Click, it's the easiest thing to do. We can move this into place, right? We can start to recolor this and like try to get it to match. This is definitely two different images. One taken during the daytime and we're putting him in a spooky forest, right? So a lot of you would go in here and you'll use like color balance and you'll like change it to cool, right? And you'll make sure this is clipped. You'll try a couple different things. You might try curves, right? And let me just get this color balance out of the way, right? And you'll play with the curves. You're like, oh, maybe less red, right? And you're totally guessing on all this, right? Don't make it a guessing game. All you need to do is go to curves, right? In the curves panel, hold down the option key, click auto. That's going to open up this dialog, auto color correction options. Go find dark and light colors. Define the dark color, right, like that. Define the highlight as it's just going to be this like light blue. And you can tweak it all you want, but already this has done quite a job in making this match, right? Because I have the darks match and the lights will match up, right? I get it, it needs more work. But you know, that's already much better than it used to be, right? So that's all. Okay. Close this. I still want to work on this image though, by the way. Checking the time, I only have 10 minutes. And up next, just checking the time. Okay, I only have 10 minutes. That should be correct. Hopefully I have my timing right. Quick change without making a big difference, so without needing to guess. Thank you so much, Mallory. Like, yeah, you nailed it. You're exactly right. Right. This honestly needs more work. This skull is just too smooth. I have this other skull that I would probably use at least for the upper part of the head or something like that. You know, it's like I kind of like this one a little bit better, right? It looks a little bit more rough, right? Maybe what I could do is I could actually use some, make some damaged, add some like, maybe it's damaged gold on the inside. Wouldn't that be cool? Right? Hell yeah. Let's do it. Get rid of skull there. Bah. There we go. Let's get some damaged gold and see what this looks like. Again, I wanted to make this like Indiana Jones style, right? We have our damaged skull. Environment light, if I don't want this, I can always remove it, right? There we go. Kind of get it reset back to what it was before. Turn off that Halloween, turn off this full skull like that. Play with the lights a little bit. I would probably add a sort of a 3-point light system to it. So starter assets, lights, 3-point light, and start to play with. There we go. We just need something like this, don't you agree? This looks so much better. All right. There we go. Cool. Does that make sense? Take down the intensity and the environment light since I want it to be darker. Just do something like that. And render it. Save my file. As untitled. You know. Real good name there, Paul. 2. Render. Done. We'll come back to that later and we'll continue working on this. Right, so I have all those little rocks and different things. I actually have some more sand and different things that I could add to this, all that fun stuff. Yeah, you could try match color. Yeah, match color might work. Yeah, match color should be under image. Right down here, match color. So you'd have to have that image open and you match it. All right, so cool. What a day. All right, let's go back in here. Let's have some fun, folks. Oh, I got all this stuff to work with, right? These cool stones, right? Taking them down, right? Changing them, right? A little bit. I'd want to add some dust and some just like some dry media, right? If you want to know where I got these, and Kyle's up next, but we can go ahead and get more brushes. Clicking right there, we'd go into like concept brushes. I'd try to find a sort of like a dust brush, right? So if watercolor, Keith Haring's the new one. Dry media is one that I have. This spatter is going to be actually pretty good. And I'm just using a mouse as the only thing. But yeah, spatter is actually what I would download. There they are. I don't know if Kyle T. Webster's watching, but I could always use some advice on this part. Right? You know all the brushes. Which ones shall we try? Spatter. Because what we want to have these parts kind of breaking off. And this is something I would do here, right? So we'll go in here, we'll add this just like dust is what we'll call it. And we'll sample a color is what we could do, right? Go in there, hit B, and add some of these spatters like I'm doing right now, right? I want this to actually have more depth for one, right? I would actually take that panoramic dark gray texture, right, and apply it like so, right? So probably cannot see that very well, but here's the spatter that I've just added, right? Let's Make it lighter. There we are. I want to give this more highlights. Yeah, this goes so fast, guys. I'm so sorry. Create a new layer, clip it, right? We now have this clipped. Another thing you could do is you could always paint on that original layer just by locking the transparency. But we're just going to go with white, right? B for brush. And I could click in here and I'm just adding like dots of white to just give this like a little bit more dimension is all I'm doing. Okay. Anyway, I just need to make this look a little bit more rough. Give it all that brokenness. And then I need to darken these stones. You're thinking, oh, would I put levels on each one of these? No, we would just create a group, right? And these are all of our stones. And then we can go ahead and add levels to it. Right on top, we'll make it all darker, like so. And now you can see I'm controlling the levels for everything in that folder, which is just a more efficient way to work. The brushes go into the library for you. What are you doing? That's strange. They should come right in here, right? As long as you import them into your brushes panel, that's exactly where they should end up. Okay. Another thing I would do is I'd actually go out, I would go ahead and make a crack brush, like a cracked brush. I could actually try lightning. Lightning actually might work if you could find lightning out there, but cracked, we'll just do cracked. There we go, like all this stuff. This is actually what I need. I could take this and turn it into a brush and reuse it and all that fun stuff, right? So, yeah. You get the idea. Cal T. Webster up next, folks. Hopefully you've enjoyed this. Let me look through. So many new things coming. There's step and repeat that you could do in Photoshop. Anytime you have a text layer, you could hit enter and that'll activate that font field. Anytime you're trying to, say, outline something, so if I was using the pen tool and I was coming in here and I just need to grab this one piece and I clicked off here, oh no, hit the space bar, you could pick up that last point and then you can position it on here. But again, if you mess up, oh no, I don't want it over there, space bar, picks it up, put it back on like so. And that's all I'm doing here, right? Do something like that, hold down the command key, click on that shape. We're just gonna extract this. Whoa, ooh, that is weird. I don't think I've ever seen that happen before. There we go. Anyway. When you make brushes, I think it's pretty important to keep in mind like the size of the brush. I'm gonna go in here and select this, edit, define brush preset, crack 1, because I'll probably have 15 of these, right? And now I have my crack brush right down there. We can go over here to the Buddha, and what's cool about this, now that I have this created, I could go to this statue right here and use that on the layer mask. So I'm going to paint with black and I'm going to put it right here. Boom. We just added a crack like so, right? And again, we could rotate it around, do another crack like right there, right? Rotate it this way, just have some fun, just kind of creating these cracks and trying to make it look abstract. That's all. Oops. Or just turn it all. Or just zoom away all of a sudden. Cool. So I'll work on this. I'll get it posted to Instagram when I get a second. And yeah, spacebar, pick it up, move it, all that good stuff. And by the way, when you are actually using the pen tool, right up here, I turn on rubber band so it forecasts the curve, the next line you're going to draw. So turn that on and it'll do the obvious, okay? Cool. So I'll work on this some more. I want to give Kyle some time. He's up next, but maybe I will just kind of add a little bit more down here. This is working out brilliantly. This crack brush, this is totally what this needed, right? Definitely. This is what I'm going for. I'll have that breaking out, and I'll make sure I add the correct skull as it's rendered out right over here. Hurry, Paul, there's no time. Get that skull. Oh yeah, use that one. Don't save. Undo that. Go full screen. Command T. Drop that. Right back there. Okay, you get the idea. That's what it's going to look like when I'm done. Thanks for watching, everybody. We have Kyle T. Webster up next, but hopefully you enjoyed this. Check out all the replays, guys, because we spent a lot of time on this content, and I think there's so much to show and all that good stuff. So check out the replays for these other masterclasses. Yeah, quite a blow to the eye. They've just discovered there's a gold skull hidden underneath there because they discovered that there was a Buddha that they discovered in China, and they, I don't know, somehow cracked it open and realized there was gold underneath. So I thought that was kind of cool. But this is going to have vines over it. It's going to be very Indiana Jones-ish. You get the idea. Thank you so much, everybody, for hanging out with me. And just follow me on all the social medias and when I get it posted. So that's it. Thank you, everybody. You guys are fantastic. You guys are the highlight of my day. And have a great weekend. More coming next week, but stay tuned for Kyle. Thanks so much, everybody.